Surviving the storms of life. Hello, I'm Julia. Welcome to this channel where we talk about biblical perspective of our daily living. And today we're going to handle a topic about surviving the storms of life. Storms of life. And I'll quote one of my favorite authors, Rick Warren, in the author of Purpose-Driven Life and Purpose-Driven Church, where he says that you in this life you are either facing an issue or coming out of an issue or just entering into another issue. So if that is life, then how should we survive these issues of life? And now the stormy issues of life. Life is can be compared as normal seasons of life. Seasons are categorized into spring, summer, winter, autumn, and they come and go, and life also, as you look at it keenly, it has also some such situation. And in this video we're going to concentrate on how to survive stormy times in our life. Number one, you should understand is that some of the characteristics of this seasons of life is that number one, they are temporary. They come and go. Like, for example, there's a harvesting period, there's a planting season, there is a rainy season, there's a dry season. So it won't just be always be rainy or always be dry. No, it will be changing. It comes and go, so that it also that relates to our normal life, that also we will face issues. They won't just stay forever. They'll be coming and going. Number two, you need to know is that seasons of life come for to accomplish a certain purpose. For example, when we see rain coming and start raining, the farmers are rushed to the farm to plant. So because rain indicates that it's now time to plant. So also in our daily living and daily life, there are issues that God will allow to come in our life. They will be able to show us that they have come for a certain purpose. And you may wonder, hey, stormy ones, what purpose is there to serve? Wait and see if there will be a purpose for it. Another aspect of seasons of life is that when they are missed, there's consequences that one suffers. For example, when there is rain and a lazy farmer maybe did not prepare the land, and is not able to plant, so the farmer should not expect to harvest during harvest season, right? Yes, same to us that when you're going through a season, or maybe a tumultuous season, or a certain season that is not pleasing, or not pleasing, when we miss the lesson, what God is trying to show us in that season, there will be some consequences that we'll face. So take each and every season positively. And one of the issues I usually like to ask God is that, Lord, what are you teaching me in this season? What am I learning? Yes, it might be painful, it might be bad, it might be not so good enough the way I would have wished it, but what are you teaching me in this season? So surviving the seasons of life, or surviving the stormy season, let me put it specific, surviving the stormy seasons of life. How will you survive? We'll go back to the heart of the word of God to us to get the ways and things, secrets or principles that God himself uses to help us to overcome stormy seasons of life. Remember, in the book of Genesis chapter 8 verse 22, it says that let me just read it. As long as the earth endureth, seed time and harvest time, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease. Meaning that seasons of life are bound to happen. Things are bound to come in our way. Challenges are bound to come and go. So we are going to face different challenges. We're going to face different issues, but they are temporary, they are seasonal, they come and go, but they are bound to happen. So for us as Christians, for us to continue being firm and steady in our walk of salvation, we need to come up with to note some of the principles that will help us to overcome stormy seasons of life. Number one, and this comes from the book of Matthew, from the story that Jesus gave about two builders. One builder built on a firm foundation, another one built on a weak foundation, on a sandy foundation for that matter. When the storms of life came, when the storm arose, Jesus narrates that the one that was built on a sandy foundation, it was swept away, but the one that was built on a rock foundation, a firm foundation, it was able to stand. So principle number 1, how to survive the stormy seasons of life is that what is your foundation? Who is at the core? What are you built on? Not not the outward appearance, but inside in you, who do you believe in? So that is where the main difference comes in. Those who believe and put their trust in God, in Jesus Christ, they will never, whatever storms of life comes their way, they are able to overcome. Yes, they come, they go. They remain better. They remain strong. They remain standing. But if your foundation is on man, your foundation is on a career, your foundation is your partner, spouse, they will come when the storms of life comes. They will sweep you away, both of you. But when your foundation is on Jesus Christ, on the Word of God, believing it and doing it, you will be able to overcome the seasons of life, the stormy seasons of life. Number 2, during the stormy seasons of life, when you're going to, for you to overcome, is something I've already just talked about a little bit, but let me now go deeper, is that hold on to your faith. Faith comes by hearing and hearing the word of God. Whatever that you have been reading the word of God, whatever you have been professing, whatever you have been singing and just rejoicing in, now that the storm of life comes, hold on to your faith. Continue trusting God. It's Linda, a singer, a very good singer, says that God of the mountain is the God of the valley. I love that hymn. The God of the mountain is God of the valley. That when the things are going straight, are going fine, everybody can sing, everybody can dance. But what about when the things are low and down? Can you still hold on to the faith? The same joy that you had during that time when things were high and flying is the same joy that you need to have when things are low. Yes, that's why Jesus in the book of Philippians says that rejoice in the Lord always. As I say, rejoice. Continue trusting God. Hold on to that faith, knowing that things will, although things are stormy right away, but my faith in God, I will not lose it. And that's where the strength comes to for you to overcome the stormy seasons of life. Number 3 is that be flexible. Paul, addressing in his letter to Philippians, he says that he has learned the art of contentment, and he has learned to be contented with plenty, and he has also learned to be contented with lack, with little, with nothing. He has learned to be content. Meaning that not let issues, when the storms of life come and maybe cut away your possessions, cut away your relationships, cut away things that you had gathered. Learn to be flexible. Maybe if it means that maybe you have suddenly lost a source of income and you don't have other bills, you can go and join somebody, another family, and stay with them. Maybe join in with a brother or a sister and stay together, so that when the storm comes away and you get another job, you're able to move on. Learn to be flexible. Don't be rigid. I should be this. Everything should go the way I've wanted. No, sometimes things don't go the way you have planned or you have decided. But when things happen like that, be flexible. What can you do? Maybe you've lost a big job. You can now look for a small job to start with and be able to overcome that season. Lastly, that I'm going to talk about is that do not be anxious of anything, but through prayer, petition, and thanksgiving, let your request be known to God. When stormy times of life, when they come, we tend to be afraid, to be anxious, to be worried. What will I do? What will I go? Who will I help? Relax. Just chill. Listen. Relax first. What then think? Don't be anxious, but through prayer and request, let your issues be known to God. Let him come in your life and be able to help you to know what is the way out. Because God, in the book of Isaiah, explains that you will hear his small still voice telling you, this is the way that you will this is the way that you need. You take it. He guides us, he helps us. And remember that when the enemy comes in like a flood, when issues comes in like a flood, God always raises a standard to help us to overcome. We are more than conquerors through Christ. No matter which storm you are going through right away, God is saying in your situation is that you are going to overcome. But first of all, hold on onto your firm foundation, who is Jesus Christ. Thank you so much. Between these two builders, which type of a builder are you? The one with a strong foundation, or the one who built his house on a sandy foundation?